I want to revisit this psychology experiment that we did in the previous lecture. So this experiment is actually called the Watson selection task. And just to kind of refresh your memory, we had some cards. I told you that the cards had a number on one side and a letter on the other side. And then I gave you a rule. And the rule was if a card has an odd number, then its letter is a vowel. And I showed you these four cards, E, K, 4, and 7. And I asked you to name the cards and only those cards that you need to turn over to verify that the given rule is true. And so it turns out that there's actually two cards that we need to turn over. We need to turn over the 7 because it's an odd number and we need to check to see if there's a vowel on the other side. And the other one, the one that people miss, is that we also need to turn over the K because we have to check to make sure that there's an even number on the other side of the K. Because if there was an odd number on the other side, then that would break this rule. And so what we're really saying when we say we need to turn over the K is that we need to check that the contrapositive statement is satisfied for this set of cards, right? So the original conditional we can write as, I'll just do kind of bad shorthand, if odd number, then vowel. Then the contrapositive statement of that would be if not vowel, then not odd number, or to write it in a less clunky way, if consonant, then even number. Okay. And so that's why we need to check the K to make sure there's an even number on the other side. Now, this experiment is very old. It was designed in the late 60s by Peter Watson, and it's really, really interesting because most people in the population get this wrong. Most people will pick out the 7 and say, I definitely need to turn over the 7. But it turns out 96% of the population will not choose to turn over the K. And what this is really interesting because it says that things like if-then statements are fairly intuitive to us, and they're in some sense kind of ingrained in our critical reasoning abilities, but the equivalent contrapositive statements are not. And that's something that's really interesting. And so if you got that right last time, pat yourself on the back. And if you didn't, then don't worry about it at all because almost everybody gets it wrong. Okay, so